Today, investigators released this timeline in the missing Theodore family case. A suspicious black van was seen at the Ben Hamilton Road home in the early morning hours, the day this 40-year-old mother, Aurelia Shakak, and her two children went missing. After 9 days of searching video cameras, the Mobile County Sheriff's Office and FBI connected that van to Juan Guerrera. He's now charged with 3 counts of kidnapping.
We don't know what the motive would have been. We have some theories, but we're exploring several different theories. One thing that all of these have in common is they're all here illegally.
Another connection, says Sheriff Paul Birch, Aurelia and Juan worked as painters. On February 3rd, Birch says they arrested Aurelia's employer, Silverio Garcia, on a weapons charge. Birch says he was living with one of Aurelia's adult daughters in Wilmer and is in the country illegally from Guatemala. Birch says Silverio is also the uncle of 30-year-old Juan Antonio Garcia, who is the father of the missing 2-year-old. Birch says he's in jail in Texas on drug warrants. He was initially named a person of interest in the family's disappearance, but was later cleared.
We're not ruling anything out right now.
Today, investigators were back at a mobile home park off Old Pascagoula Road, where it's believed Juan Guerrera spent time after the family's disappearance. Detectives searched the same mobile home park yesterday, along with a home on Apache Run. The suspicious black van was found at a home today on Clearview Drive, and the FBI is conducting forensic analysis of it. Investigators say blood was discovered in the missing family's home. Aurelia's mattress and laundry hamper are missing, but cell phones were left behind. Despite the troubling evidence, Birch says they do believe the family was alive when they were taken from the home.
Just detailed investigative techniques is as far as I'm willing to go with that. And again, the FBI has resources that are unimaginable to local law enforcement, and they brought all those to bear in this case.
Birch says a challenge in this case is trying to get people who are here illegally in the country to provide information. Birch says Aurelia and her daughter, New Yorka Zuleta, were here from Guatemala illegally and had final deportation orders issued last April.
The citizenship status of the victims in this case and of any witnesses is not what is at issue here. What is important is trying to find this family safe, alive, and get them back home.
Our work here is not done. Our work will not be complete until we locate Aurelia, Zuleta, and Anthony.
A rare school shooting rocked a remote northern Canadian town on Tuesday. Multiple people, including the shooter, were found dead at the Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, located about 600 miles northeast of Vancouver.
This is a devastating day for a close-knit community, and the loss being felt is profound.
2 more bodies were found in a nearby home, and police say they're connected to the school shooting.
Police are conducting further searches of other homes and properties to determine whether anyone else may be injured or otherwise linked to today's events.
The school is only about 175 students, grades 7 through 12, and police say they were on the scene within 2 minutes of getting the first reports of the shooting. Officials believe the shooter, a female, acted alone, leaving police and the local community searching for answers.
The people of Tumbler Ridge remain in a state of crisis following one of the worst mass shootings in our province's and country's history.
Canada has strict gun control laws, and school shootings are extremely rare. The last one happened a decade ago.
It makes us think about our kids' safety when they're going to school. We take it for granted. You go to school, you come home safe. And events like this give us pause.
It's not clear yet how the Canadian government will respond, but previous mass shootings resulted in stronger gun control measures. And just last year, Canada added almost 200 new gun models to its list of banned assault weapons. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
The teachers, the staff, the residents, for everything that they've done in this terrible situation. On the advice of the Clerk of the Privy Council and Heritage Canada, I've asked that the flags in the Peace Tower here and across all government buildings be flown at half-mast for the next 7 days. We will get through this, we will learn from this, but right now it's a time to come together, as Canadians always do in these situations, these terrible situations, to support each other to mourn together, and to grow together. The nation mourns with you. Canada stands by you.
I mean, this video was a game changer, and I think we've had a flurry of tips come in ever since then. So we've all been watching it frame by frame. I mean, the demeanor the person walks up, I have to tell you, I'm reading Amateurville. They've got their head ducked down as if they're, afraid that there might be a camera and maybe it'll catch them. And then they see the camera, and instead of going, oh no, there's a camera, I better turn around and leave because it already caught me, this person goes and picks flowers and weeds and tries to, cover up the lens with them. I mean, a real professional kidnapper or even a burglar would have a spray can of paint to hit all of the security cameras with instantaneously. So there's this vacillation, maybe a certain amount of ease and confidence, but just not a typical what we see in kidnapping for ransom, for profit. They usually come, it's like a hit and run. They're in, they're out, they get what they want. They don't hang around for 43 minutes. And it just really begs the question, is the extortionist asking for the money completely unrelated to the person we see on the porch? Well, I think that, first of all, we need to understand that the FBI and the Guthries may have had these images for a while, a day, 2 days. I have a hard time believing it took 10 days to get these images, even with the intense, archiving they had to do to get them. So they may have been pursuing this all along. According to reports, the Guthrie family does not recognize this person at all. They are clueless as to who this could be. But they probably spent a few days, at least a day, trying to figure out if they could figure out the identity of this person on their own. And it kind of coincides with with Savannah's video appeal yesterday afternoon for the return of her mother, Nancy. And really the first strength I have seen in the week from her. She was a different person. She looked ready for a solution, and she was begging for the help of the public. I think she did this on the eve of knowing this video would come out and knowing that those tips would come in during a personal appeal. But we have to understand that a lot of these tips are not going to pan out. They may be well intentioned but wrong. They may be bad intentioned, like, hey, I think I'm going to get my cousin Carlos into trouble because he kind of looks like this guy. They have to just take everything seriously. And I think we're seeing that unfold in real time right now at this house with the search warrant. We don't know how many tips they have had, but they are looking for the person on the porch or anyone who knows anything about him. And I do think it's just a matter of time before we know that person's identity.
So I really have just one question for you. How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer
theatrics
the
are
question
ridiculous.
the way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people. All right.
My time. The answer to my question, how many of Epstein's co-conspirators has she indicted, is 0.
You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. And none of them ask Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over, the Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now.
Do these emails constitute credible evidence, not proof, but credible evidence warning further investigation into whether Steve Tisch was involved in Epstein's criminal conduct? Do you think yes or no?
I'm not going to play a yes-no game with you, but I will answer the question to the best of my ability. As I said, we will look and investigate any case involving any victim.
I'd like to.
Could I finish, please? I'm not being rude, please.
I only have 5 minutes.
No, yeah, and I only have 30 seconds based on your filibustering.
Well, you didn't give a yes or no answer.
For the first time, the top enforcers of President Trump's mass deportation agenda were under oath on Capitol Hill today before a sometimes hostile audience. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons, CBP Commissioner Rodney Scott, and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Director Joseph Edlow, all testifying before the House Homeland Security Committee. The Trump officials touting what they say their agencies have accomplished. For committee Democrats, the head of ICE was a tantalizing target. And Congressman Swalwell had another exchange with ICE Director Todd Lyons, asking him if he'd like to apologize to the family of Renee Good. This after some in the Trump administration referred to her as a domestic terrorist. Lyons responded, quote, "No, sir," then added that he has no comment when Swalwell asked if he'd like to apologize to the family of Alex Preddy. Reporting on Capitol Hill, Bill Malugin, Fox News.
Love is in the air, but sadly, some are trying to take advantage of those looking for companionship.
11 million older adults had been targeted in one of these romance scams. They had been asked for money or to invest in cryptocurrency. And what else we found out is that 1 in 6 know someone or they themselves had money stolen.
Romance scams have become increasingly easier as we get more and more connected. Amy Knopfziger, AARP Fraud Watch Network's Senior Director of Victim Support, says bad actors often use social media or text to strike up a conversation, typically building a friendship first, which then grows more personal.
It will turn to a little flirtatious, and then what we're finding is that person is encouraging the target to invest in cryptocurrency. So they'll say something like, well, actually, I was able to retire early because my cousin is a crypto expert. He can teach you too. Let me introduce you to him, when it's nothing but one of their criminal buddies.
And while anyone of any age can become a victim, adults ages 50 to 64 are especially at risk. Knopfziger says older Americans are often targeted because they hold the majority of wealth. Still, she says knowing the warning signs can help you avoid financial heartbreak.
Is the person asking you to move off of the platform and go to an encrypted texting app? That's a huge red flag. Are they asking you to keep the relationship a secret? And then are they coming up with crisis? Are they saying, my car got broken into, my wallet got stolen? And if any of these emergencies come up, they're going to ask you for money. If anybody that you're talking to online is asking you for money or encouraging you to invest in cryptocurrency, it's 100% a scam.
Despite building relationships, most victims have never even met their swindler. And surprisingly, 55% never report financial losses due to stigma and reporting barriers.
For some reason in our society, we blame the victims of financial crimes, and the blame needs to be put on the criminal. So if someone in your life comes up to you and tells you that they were a victim of a scam, support them with kindness and empathy and encourage them to report this.
To report a scam, first reach out to law enforcement and then contact your bank or financial institution. In New York, Brian Yennis, Fox News.
No matter your age, self-love isn't always easy. And for children who are still learning about the world and their place in it, it can be especially hard.
Self-esteem is not something kids are just born with. It is something that we can build in them.
Dr. Ariana Howitt with Nationwide Children's Hospital says factors like bullying, lack of choices, adults providing too much help, and comparisons can cause kids to be hard on themselves.
Adults have a big role to play in building kids' self-esteem from the moment they're born, from the moment they're very little to their teenage years.
To foster self-love in children, Howitt says parents can teach them to talk kindly to themselves, talk them through negative thoughts, and praise them when you notice they've done something well. She says to also model that.
Give them lots of love yourself so that they learn to do it back too.
Next, Howitt says to build independence in children by giving them chores or tasks at home, which can help them see they can do hard things. And monitor their connection to others. Friendships can impact how a child feels about themselves. For older children, so can social media. Howitt says to limit exposure and talk to them about it.
What you're seeing on social media is not real. That's just the highlights. You're not seeing what that other child may be struggling with.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
You have unleashed the creature that we have feared for more than 3,000 years.
Nearly 30 years after they first struck box office gold together, Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are reuniting for The Mummy 4. The pair starred in 1999's The Mummy and a 2001 sequel. The 2008 threequel did not feature Weisz. The new flick is due in theaters May 19, 2028.
It is my job to tell every single SAG-AFTRA member about the name change.
Kristen Bell is hosting the Actor Awards, and in this promo she does her best to explain that's the new name of the SAG Awards. The Guild's 32nd annual event streams live on Netflix March 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern.
You may remember 1967 is the Summer of Love in San Francisco, so a lot of musical things were going on.
And John Fogerty has been making memorable music ever since. The Songwriters Hall of Fame says the Creedence Clearwater Revival founder and solo artist is this year's recipient of its prestigious Johnny Mercer Award. Fogerty will be honored at a Songwriters Hall of Fame gala June 11th in New York. Down on the corner in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
I see that question in your eyes.
Iron Lung is about a convict welded in a submarine dropped into an ocean of blood after the universe has ended.
Iron Lung is an adaptation of the indie video game of the same name. The film was made, financed, and distributed by YouTube personality Markiplier.
Basically, I wanted to make a feature. I knew that I wanted to do that. I had made a few YouTube originals, and they were really a lot of fun. Like, I've been doing YouTube for a long time and doing various things on YouTube. But I knew that to take the next step in my artistic journey, there had to be something that felt more official than a YouTube-related project.
You did test this thing, right?
This is the test. The story involving a submarine descending into an ocean of blood meant the filmmaker needed to get creative, using a NACMO motion base for the sub's set.
And as soon as I heard about it, I was like, that's instantly what I would like. And I know it's expensive, but to have that through the whole production means that we can have the flexibility to do all of these realistic in that I am really getting thrown around in there moves. You know, we get to feel the ocean.
All we have are surface scans. That's why you're there.
Caroline Kaplan co-stars in the film.
Because she and Mark's character are isolated from one another, the experience of being in the same building but not being able to see him helped me act it. Because I was trying to reach him in the same way she would be.
There aren't enough of us left to be throwing lives away, but there is too much at stake not to take calculated risks.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
A family in Southern California is okay after a terrifying moment was captured showing large waves tossing and capsizing their boat. The Santa Cruz Fire Department shared the video saying the boat was loaded with 2 adults and 4 children when the waves struck the craft.
And the wave literally picked him up, curled him over, and threw the boat down.
KSBW reports surfers in the water immediately came to the rescue, using their boards to get the family members to safety. The victims reportedly suffered only minor cuts and bruises from the incident. Officials say it could have ended worse, but also that it may have been avoided, saying the family was reportedly warned ahead of time not to go out on the water amid dangerous conditions.
He should have known better, and he should have listened to advice, from the Harbor Patrol.
Well, in case you missed it, a plane in Georgia missed its intended destination when engine problems forced the pilot to land their craft on a busy Gainesville roadway instead. The small plane struck and damaged several vehicles upon landing, but thankfully only minor injuries were reported. The FAA is now sorting out exactly what led to the trafficy touchdown. Finally, speaking of roadways and safety and stuff hitting other stuff, take a look at why it's so important to properly secure cargo when driving. Video shows what appeared to be loose luggage struck by a van on a Utah highway. No one was hurt, but I can't say the same for the van, which did sustain some damage. Utah Highway Patrol troopers dragged the debris to the shoulder and later posted to socials saying, "Tie it down, tarp it over, and double-check your cargo. Events like this one are 100% preventable." For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
A continuous roar comes from the tangle of pipes and valves in the basement of Edward R. Murrow High School, where 4 new boilers heat the entire school of 4,000 students with vegetable oil biofuel.
We can implement that in other buildings in the city that it makes sense, in your local hospital, your libraries. We can really save a lot of carbon emissions.
Powered by the same oil you can use in your kitchen, says Sustainability Coordinator Jesse John.
Think of it as maybe French fry oil. And that oil is repurposed into our boilers with a catalyst and a couple additives, and we actually make it into diesel fuel.
Murrow is the first school in the city to install the renewable energy system in an effort to explore how to cut emissions in the surrounding community.
If you ever leave here around 3 o'clock, you'll see that it's one of the most congested neighborhoods in the city. There's a lot of legacy fuel being utilized to power cars, trucks all around this neighborhood.
This is the first winter since the system was retrofitted last year, and with the brutally cold temperatures we've been having the last few weeks, it's been a real test. The good news is students and staff say they feel no difference.
We won't have to have so much carbon emissions that ruin our environment and make people like me with asthma have a rough time.
It's really showed me that even on small scale we can make change, and that we can make change in a community like Murrow.
The initiative translates directly to the classroom. Upstairs in the environmental lab, produce grows hydroponically powered by an aquarium that repurposes fish waste.
I find it really cool, and I think that we're making a difference.
A greenhouse growing basil and radishes teaches students about food systems in the school that just got greener, from the boiler to the science lab.
Nashville, Tennessee, July 30th, 1942. Dear William R., it sure was a pleasant and sad surprise to hear from you. Pleasant because you will always hold a place in my heart, and it's nice to know you think of me once in a while. Sad because you're in the armed forces. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but war is so uncertain.
This is a love story. These are letters between Raymond Whitaker, who was a soldier in World War II, and his soon-to-be wife, Jane Dean. And there's over 200 letters between the two of them, starting in 1942 and ending, I believe, in 1943.
The past is behind us, and all we hold is the present and maybe the future. Events are changing so rapidly these days that one can't really plan for the future.
Raymond Whitaker enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1942. He was first stationed in Arizona. During that time, he and Jane got back in touch via correspondence. He later transferred to Fort McClellan with the 92nd Infantry.
I have something very important to tell you when I do see you, and you will be surprised to know as to what it is. I might even ask you to marry me. One never knows.
It's more than just a love story. They give this in-the-moment perspective of what that's like and what it's like just navigating certain racial issues, certain gender issues.
We are not together but a few happy hours, but maybe this old war will be over soon and we can be together for always.
This is a very valuable collection in that respect, and we wanted it to be available so people could look at this from so many different perspectives and just get all the stories that this love story contains.
Remember me to all at home and expect to hear from you when you are in the mood for writing. A bundle of kisses and hugs. Ray.
Fox 54 Plus has your news, sports, and weather. Start your evening with Fox 54 at 5:30, delivering the latest headlines and live reports straight from the scene. Then, stay informed with Fox 54 News at 9, featuring your Tennessee Valley certified most accurate weather impact team, tracking everything from tornado threats to traffic delays during severe weather. Fox 54 Sports Extra brings you more of what sports fans crave, with deeper insights, expert analysis, and all the action that matters most. On Fox 54 Plus, you'll also find Alabama politics, plus 24/7 weather radar and real-time forecasts to keep you ahead of the storm. Looking for a quick recap? Don't miss Fox 54 Week in Review, highlighting the biggest stories of the week. Jumpstart your morning with Morning Rush. Fast-paced news updates, featured with uplifting stories from across the globe. Get your entertainment fix with Getting Real, where we break down movie reviews, top 10 lists, and spotlight the newest film. Die Hard fan? Locked On Sports dives deep into the Crimson Tide, the Tigers, college rivalries, and pro action. True crime warrior style? Killer Cases brings you gripping real-life stories that stick with you. Hungry for more? Cooking with Style serves up mouth-watering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. From movie previews before you head to the theater with Take a Look, to must-know headlines from across the region and around the world with In the News. Watch all of these shows on demand and also on the Fox 54 News app, available on Android and iOS devices, streaming 24/7.
Did you know that you can get weather impact updates 24/7 on Fox 54 Plus? Here's how. Go to Fox 54 Plus on your Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, or Samsung. Once you're on the main screen, push the down arrow and click on the Fox 54 Plus Weather Impact 24/7 block. Here, you'll find radar, current temperatures and conditions, traffic cams, forecasts, and more, all available on demand. Want to get back to the main channel? Just push the down arrow and click on the 24/7 stream button. It's your weather impact updates 24/7 on Fox 54 Plus. Start streaming today.
There's more to Fox 54 Plus with the Locked On Podcast Network. From the Tide to the Tigers, from college teams to pro, the Locked On Podcast Network gives you insights and analysis you just can't find anywhere else.
These kids, they want to play.
I don't think so. I think it was Chad Baker-Mazzara.
Locked On Sports, streaming every day of the week and right here on Fox 54 Plus.